Hi, I'm Grace, and I am great company.
I'm very excited for today, guys, because I have one of my favorite people on the show. If you watch I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, you know exactly who this is. If you're on TikTok, you also know exactly who this is. We have G.K. Barry on the show, Grace. Grace has literally just flown back from Australia. Literally just flown back, just landed, so her jet lag is through the roof. This is the first and only show she's coming on to talk about her experience in the jungle, to talk about her life, to talk about everything. So we're really excited to have her. Grace is amazing in so many ways, so I cannot wait for this episode. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to the show already, it would just be amazing if you could click that subscribe button. You have no idea what it does for us. It does so many amazing things, and it'd be the best Christmas present ever. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Please enjoy this episode of Great Company with G.K. Barry. I have a little quickfire game I wanted to play with you.
Go on, love that.
Here we go. Best DM slide.
From me?
From both, actually. You sending someone and one coming back.
The DM for me was probably my girlfriend messaging me for the first time. That really works. I never respond to DMs. For me, I remember, I don't know. I just message everyone like Beyonce, asking them to come on my pod and thinking they're going to reply. I sent one to Billie Eilish the other day. I was like, hey, babe, like, if you're ever in London, just let me know. Like, would love to get you on the pod. And I was like, she's going to reply. She didn't.
What's your reoccurring nightmare?
Ooh. I always have one that I'm doing a talk at my school and I've got no teeth. And everyone's like, gummy. And I always have that nightmare.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It means you're worried about money, apparently, with no teeth.
Is it?
Yeah, that's when you start...
On brand. Yeah. Yeah, times were tough.
The moment when you were like, ew, to men.
This is really TMI, but after sleeping with my girlfriend, imagining a man's being on top of me made me physically want to die.
Is it really just different?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I promise you. Sorry to break that to you. Hopefully Sophie never has this realisation.
When I have this time when I got on, like, if I get on top of stage, she goes, oh, get on with it.
Wow, that was me. I'd always go, fuck, I might as well get this over and done with so it keeps them quiet for 5 minutes. That was my life for a bit.
Who's your best friend?
Best friend? Oh, I've got 3 best friends that are all the same, like in the same group. I'd say my manager, my girlfriend, and Tat, where the Barry came from. But Tat's my longest best friend. So she wins.
What is a best friend to you? What does that mean?
Someone that will humble you, always be there for you, will not judge you, and loves a drink.
What club are you taking Reverend Coles to?
I'm thinking maybe Freedom in Soho. I could see him on the pole.
Worst hangover you've ever had?
Dear God, I remember Harry Pinero. I remember it so well. Harry Pinero had it was a Captain Morgan party. I don't know what it was, but he had a party and it was sponsored by Captain Morgan's. I'm not really a rum drinker. And I was like, fuck it, I'll have some spice rum. I had so much spice rum that the next day I got alcohol poisoning. I was throwing up everywhere and I just moved into my house. So there was no furniture and I was laid on the carpet shivering because I couldn't work out how to turn the heating on. And it lasted about 14 hours. And I said to myself I'd go sober and I had to then drink more to stop it. And I just haven't stopped.
Would you like to know how you die or when you die?
Oh, I'd love to know how I die.
How would
best case scenario, it's a really dramatic, like very camp way. Like I was walking out of Freedom, got hit by a bus or something like that. I'd love something a bit dramatic. Would hate to die in my sleep. I don't know, something that would make the news.
If you could be a boy for a day, what would you do?
Wank. I would actually, this is what I'd do. I would wank all day long. I would chat up a girl just to see what it's like from a man point of view. I'd then probably try putting a finger up my bum because I've heard you've got a G-spot. So I'd like to know what that's like. And I'd also just like to maybe get into a fight. And that's it, really.
You said that you were quite shy, you were quite anxious maybe when you were younger.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to that. I think it was the G.K. Barry thing. Because I was like, if I walk into a room, I can just pretend to be who I am online. And then that sort of helped. And then it just started becoming me anyway. But in normal day-to-day life, which I think people saw in the jungle was that I'm not always on, like, I am quite quiet, not when I'm doing trials, but I am quite quiet and I am quite reserved.
Mm.
So, but now I feel a little bit more like me and not GK Barry. It's weird. I've done like a flip and then another flip.
So GK Barry with you is like your alter ego in a way.
Yeah, really. Like if I'm going to an event and I know people in there will know me as GK Barry, I'll go in so confident. I'll have a wine in my hand. I'll be loud. I'll be talking to everyone. But if I'm doing something as me, I will literally sneak into that room, still get the wine, but I won't be like that. It's
Wow.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
not weird. It's a protective mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that.
That is so interesting. So when was the first time that you created the character then? In a sense, it is you, but it's sort of this heightened version of yourself.
I don't even know how I thought about doing it. I just remember posting TikTok. I think it was because of lockdown.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, no one's going to see me. We're probably all going to die. So I was just not asked about what I was posting. And then I remember thinking, if I put on a really strong accent, the story sounds funnier. So I was doing that and I was being really like outrageous with all my stuff because the views were coming from when I'd talk about my most outrageous story. So I was like, right. And then it just sort of stuck. And I was like, well, I've got to carry on with this now, even after lockdown. So I was like, I'm stuck in this now. I have to talk like this for the rest of my life. Like I'd be having a conversation with my manager talking like this, and then a follower would come up to me and I'd be like, wow, you doing it? It was just so embarrassing to do. I don't know what happened. The lines were blurred. Yeah.
Psychologically, what does that do?
I feel like I had an identity crisis because I was like, who am I?
Yeah.
Am I sounding like an East London cab driver, or am I actually posh? I don't know who I am. Am I actually funny? I don't know. And then I was having, I'm just me now. I get that. And I can sometimes be over the top when I need to be and really funny when I need to be. But it is just a front.
Yeah, you're more comfortable in that space, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's Grace, it's so funny. I had that. So when I was doing Made in Chelsea, I remember the first ever like scene that was aired or whatever. Social media was like Twitter or X at the time,
God
right?
forbid, yeah.
Oh my God, it was horrendous.
The
And
worst.
I would do the scene and then I would see the scene on TV and I would then go straight away to social media because you wanted to see what people were saying, right?
Yeah.
And they would say things like, oh, he's funny or he's energetic or whatever it was. So then I latched onto that.
Yeah.
And I went, well, I've got to be energetic and funny in every single scene.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what happened is sort of I became this volumed up version of myself. It's still me. I think I was very much exactly the same person as on the show, but
It's
this
just more.
more.
Yeah.
And then because we were filming 160 days a year, I couldn't separate the TV show from my real life. And I went, and I've said this before, but I went with a friend for a drink and I was chatting to him and he said to me, we're not on Channel 4 at the moment.
Oh.
And I went, what the fuck? I was like, you
don't even realise you're doing it.
I didn't even realise I was doing it. And I had become like this. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know why we do it. And also I think when you have a platform and you can read stuff about yourself, it will then alter. So if I've been on Loose Women, I'll be like, right, let me go on Twitter. And if people are like, she was trying too hard today, I'll be like, I was trying too hard today. Even though I didn't think I was until I read it. It's, I don't know, weird. I don't know why I do it.
I thought I was pretty good at dealing with the internet, same as you. And then what happened last year is we did a collaboration with Netflix, Sex Education.
Love that.
Yeah, it was great for sweets and sex education together. And we put the sweets out there and people didn't really understand the collaboration. And so what happened is they thought that I was selling sex to kids. And
I can see why that would be a problem.
the online sudden like explosion of people thinking I was a paedophile
Sorry.
was absolutely to the point where the office got phoned up and people just phone up and shout paedophile like down the line.
That is the worst type of confusion as well. That couldn't be worse.
And I was just like, fuck. Like, I'm going to be that guy that they're going to be like, do you remember that guy who was like on like that Made in Chelsea show? He started like that.
Now.
Yeah, he started that creepy sweet company and he was like a paedophile. That's what it was. I was like going through this thing.
It's awful.
It was awful.
My God.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah, I won't complain again.
Social media is this place which is it's so quick and so instant. Problem is in this industry, it's based on our personalities and things like that, and so that's quite tricky because there's a lot of pressure on yourself. You're not selling a product; you're selling yourself. I'm going to tell you, Grace, you're the nicest, greatest person.
Thank you.
No, but you truly are. You are beyond kind. You're beyond funny. You're beyond great, and you've got to know you're amazing.
Thank you.
No, you truly are great, and like that's why we have the whole team here today because everyone was so excited to that you were coming in.
Oh, come on, thanks.
Yeah, 100%. But I just want you to know that. When you were younger, at school, what were you like?
I was such a nerd. I was so weird, but not a nerd as in like a smart nerd. Like I was actually just weird. Like I was so unfunny, try hard, weird looking. Like there was just nothing good there going on. And no offence to emos, but I was an emo, but it didn't suit me. It didn't suit me at all. So there was a lot going on there that shouldn't have been going on.
I think some people are listening, right? 100%, who maybe they feel like out of place or maybe like a misfit or they don't quite fit in. And maybe they're having a tough time at school as well. What would you say to someone who's listening?
You can back this. The funniest, most successful like people in our industry or in most like big industries, the most successful ones are the ones that had a shit time at school.
Yeah.
Or that were like every comedian I've met had an awful time at school because of the way they looked or they're a bit weird. And when you look at them now, people want to be them.
Yeah.
They have like the dream job. So I think, and school's not the be all and end all. I feel like when I was at school, I was like, I have to, be liked and otherwise my life is over. When you leave school, like when I went to uni, I just clocked how much none of that mattered.
Doesn't matter.
It does. Even if you're having a bad time at uni, that doesn't matter either. Because when you leave that, you have a whole life and whole new friends and you can move to wherever you want to move to. You can move away. And that is one thing I'd suggest. If you are having a tough time at school or like college, if you were able to move out of that area to a uni, or it can be a shit uni. Do you know what I mean? It can be like, I don't know, you don't need GCSEs to get into. Just go to anywhere and move out because you will have a whole new sense of life.
Yeah.
And that is what I would say.
Do you know, we had Luke Evans on and he was really bullied as well. And, he's down on 36 or 46 Hollywood movies and insane. He said, but his thing was, he always knew that school was temporary. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people realise that. No. They think it's the be all and end all.
That's what I thought. 100%. I was like, I'm going to die here. This will never end. And now like the people that I would obsess over the most, trying to want them to like me, I do not even think about now. Wow. On the odd occasion, when I'm drunk at Christmas seeing my friends from school, I will have a stalk of their Facebooks and a laugh. But you don't think about them. They're that irrelevant to you, which I think is important to remember.
Did you enjoy school at all?
No, that was absolute hell. I hope it burns to the ground. It was, with no one in it, obviously. It was awful. Awful. I think, and as well, when I went to school, it was the time where social media was just coming in. So I would get like nasty comments at school, and then I'd go home to Twitter and someone would have tweeted an ugly picture of a fish and said it looked like me. I'd be like, this doesn't end. And the fish had buck teeth, which is why it hurt more.
Great.
Thank you, Jane.
Because that's just, because I suppose you have a great family.
Yeah.
And that is so, like, I see your family and I just think they are the best. And the fact that you have that family as your support system, some kids don't have that. And so they're stuck in this like hellhole of shit.
Yeah, that's because I can imagine how awful it is getting stuff at school, but then coming home and having bad stuff. But again, I feel like if you ever get a chance to just move away, take that opportunity, especially if you're having an awful time at home, because there is more to life, even though it doesn't feel like it at the time.
Did you tell your parents you're having a hard time at school?
Yeah, every day I'd be like, oh, they said that I was ugly. And my mum would be like, please, when will this end? But there's nothing really you can do. No school deals with bullying at all. And if they do, it's usually, oh, we've moved her seat. She's still in the same class, but she's like 4 seats away from them now. Thanks. So it's difficult, but it was helpful having my friends and my family on my side, because when I went home, I was like, I'm away from it now, which was nice.
But didn't you moved to the British Virgin Islands?
Yeah.
And then you moved back 6 years later?
Yeah.
And was that complicated because then you're joining a new school at different times?
Yeah, it was. I said I had a Caribbean accent when I moved to the UK, which arguably, again, was weird. I was like M.R. Like, there was a lot.
You didn't.
Yeah, and I had cornrows.
You didn't.
Which would never run now, but it did back in the day. And I just turned up to this primary school with cornrows and a Caribbean accent, and I was just like, this is too much. But I didn't know it was weird because that's all I knew. So I like fitted into my surroundings then, but it was, yeah. And I moved to a primary school which was a Christian school of about 50 people. All of them were like jockeys, like jockey family, very countryside. There was a lot, and that was difficult. Yeah.
When you went to uni,
Yeah.
did that all change?
100%. When I went to uni, I remember it was like slow-mo, the whole thing. I was like,
Give
oh
it
my
to me.
God, I could shag right here, and who's going to tell me to not do it? Probably my flatmates. But that doesn't matter because fuck them. Do you know what I mean? I could do what I wanted, and I don't know, I just felt like, oh my God, I can do what I want and I can be me. And I was making loads of friends. I wasn't really doing much on my course, but I was making loads of friends. And
Had the emo look gone?
to be honest, I went more big hoop earrings,
Yeah, there
ripped
we go.
jeans.
There we go.
Yeah, I should have got bullied again, but I didn't, thank God. But yeah, I just felt like, and there were so many different types of people at uni that no one actually cared what you looked like or what you were doing. So everyone just sort of embraced it. So that was really nice. And I remember the first time my parents dropped me off, I hysterically cried.
This is at Nottingham, right?
Yeah, Nottingham Trent, come on. And they dropped me off and they came back to visit me about 3 months later, and they said they were shocked. I was so confident. I was a completely different person, and they said they'd never seen anything like it. Because when they dropped me off, I cried because I was scared to get on a tram. And it was one stop. I cried.
What do you think it was that changed it? You felt that free. I know what you mean. It's. I remember when I left school and I was going to uni, and I remember thinking the only thing I have to worry about is like dying. I don't have to worry about any. I can
and
go
for me,
to.
that was a big risk.
I could go to a drive-through. No one's going to stop me.
Yeah.
I can do anything I want.
It was the freedom and just being like, you've got to fend for yourself, learn how to do it. And I thought, right, well, I'm someone that I will only do stuff if I'm forced. When I did it, I was like, oh, I can fend for myself. And then I got this like confidence, like, I can cook my own dinner. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to be babied. And I think that's where it happened. I felt just like proud that I was doing my own thing.
What was that moment? Was there one moment you said like, I'm free, I can do anything. This is the freest thing ever?
I remember so vividly, I was in Prism in Nottingham. Nightclub, of course. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to spend all my money on Jaeger bombs. And I did it. And then I was like, and I'm going to walk home on my own, which I wouldn't recommend. And I walked home on my own. And I remember getting back to my student accommodation like, too fucking right. I did do that. And I went to sleep with a kebab and thought, this is like the best day of my life. And that's how I knew. I thought, if I did that at my hometown, oh my God, no way.
Were you babied by your parents or no?
Oh my God, yeah, 100%. I wouldn't say I was like, no, I was spoiled. I think because my siblings are so much older and they don't live with us, I was like the final boss. So they were like, don't worry, Grace. Like, well, if you need help, we'll help you. Like, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Obviously, I was forced into like working at a young age, but
sorry, what do you mean working at a young age?
No,
What do you
Amazon warehouse. No, just like when I turned 17, my parents were like, "You're not getting any money off us. Go and work." So I was
that
like,
flips.
Yeah, I was like, for the love of God. So I had to go and work, but. More like if I was upset, my mum would be like, come here. And I'd be watching Strictly with her, like crying my eyes out, knowing I was about to get an ice cream. But I was very much babied, more by my mum.
Did you have a relationship at uni?
At the start of uni, I did, but I sacked that off very quickly for obvious reasons. Got a leg over. You know the vibe. But no, having a relationship at uni, that wasn't going to work.
Really?
Yeah, for me.
So for the whole years you had no relationship?
No relationship. I was single for about four-ish years while I was at uni. I thought, this is a bargain. Love this.
So wait, you've never had your heart broken?
No, not really. Actually, no. I mainly did the breaking up, which always felt quite good.
How do you break up with someone? How would you do it?
I'd be like, look, it's not me, it is you, and I need to focus on myself. all of that. But in that time, I'm very much someone that it takes me a long time to be done. Like, you have to push me quite far to be done, but when I am done, that is it.
So if we're going to role play it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you're breaking up with me.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Grace.
Jamie.
Whoa. Sorry, that's okay.
Jamie.
Yeah? What's up?
Okay. I am going to be honest with you here.
Okay. I love you, no?
And that's embarrassing for you because I'm done now. I feel like you've made a fool of me. You've made a fool of yourself. I'm actually a lesbian, which is quite funny. I should probably tell you that now. And I just think this isn't working out. I think you deserve a woman that's a 9-to-5 girl who wants a golden retriever.
I don't want any of that.
You do, and I know you do. You'll find out in 5 years. I
don't.
see the future, and you see that.
I don't want that. And I don't mind the fact you're a lesbian.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You can go out, but I'll wait at home for you.
Okay, well, now I've got the ick because I like someone with ambition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say goodbye, and I would love for you to block me.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm going to block you then.
I love you.
Yep.
I love you.
Okay.
I love you.
You are giving vagina energy right now.
And that's what you'd like.
Yeah. You've charmed me. I'm back.
Is this the first one you've done since Out the Jungle?
Yeah.
So how do you feel being out now? Are you anxious? Are you not anxious? What is it?
I was anxious. First couple of days when I came out, I was like, this is very overwhelming. I need to go live in a cave. But now I feel great. And I feel like I appreciate food and just England a lot more, to be honest. Like a daddy long legs I can fuck about with now. Am I allowed to swear?
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you.
What was the experience like?
The experience was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought, yeah, like, I'll keep myself entertained by like starting fires and whatever. It is so boring in there. There's only so many conversations you can have. Like before, it's like, well, we've done that. I know everything about your life. The hunger is insane. I didn't expect to be that hungry. And I thought maybe they'd give you like a snack if you felt faint. They don't. It was just a lot. And our season, it was raining the entire time. So you had to just sit around the campfire all day, every day in the freezing cold. So it was, mentally a lot.
Grace said before that you're not much of a hugger.
No.
And there's a lot of hugs that go on every day.
There was an ongoing joke in there that everyone was like, do you want a hug? Because I am not an affectionate person. I'll do a hug, but I'm not sat there like, oh, I love this. And every day it was like 12 hugs, 4 times a day. And at one point I just said, if I leave, let's just group hug and be done with it, because I don't have that in me. I hate hugs now. I've done it too much. I've done my life's worth of hugs.
What is it about hugs that you don't like?
I just think sometimes people don't know how to stop hugging. Like, it's gone on for too long. I feel uncomfortable. I feel very overstimulated. I don't really know where to put my hands because I'm quite tall as well. So I feel weird going on top, which is uncommon for me. But I feel weird going on top or at the bottom. And I don't know. I just think it's over the top.
I think we just hugged outside.
Yeah, but that was nice. I quite enjoyed that.
You went over the top with me, I think, as well.
Yeah. Again, it's the height thing for me.
I felt very dominated when you did that.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I've got
in a good way.
Yeah, I've got a name in the streets.
It was like one of those. It was like one of those sort of like grasshoppers coming to like eat their young.
I get called that a lot. Actually, it's the lankiness. Yeah, I am given that.
I was talking about this before, Grace. I'm like, it's because we've known each other for a few years now. Mm-hmm. In a weird way, I'm like so proud of. Man, I swear to God, it's the coolest thing in the world. Because I was speaking to Jemima about this before. There's this weird thing in television, especially linear television, which is like, okay, you have to stay in your lane. If you do digital content, that's where you stay. Mm-hmm. If you do TV, that's where you stay. If you do film, that's where you stay. And what you've done, which I truly believe, is when you've got a talented person, talent should always shine through. And you've done that crossover into linear TV against all like commissioners and people saying that can't happen. You've done it and absolutely nailed it.
And no one, it's taken us ages, I say us, my manager, to
Hannah's
move.
Here, by the way.
Hannah is here.
Hannah.
Because no one would ever take a chance on me. We've had so many meetings about telly and they're like, commissioners just don't really want like a TikToker or a podcaster going on to telly. It worked out so well. Like, they said to me that they had such a high viewing audience of younger people this year, and people just wanted to see me. But it was weird because when I first got announced, it was just full of people going, "Who's that? Who's this? Who the fuck is GK Barrett? Is she a goalkeeper?" Like, all of the comments were just roasting me. And then when I got out, it was like middle-aged people like, "Oh, we actually really like her." So I thought, thank you.
How did it work? So you got called into ITV. They kind of said, look, we want you to do the show. Were you nervous about doing it?
So funny enough, I was booked to do another show, and
What was the other show?
I cannot say, could not say, but you can probably guess. I was booked
Does
to
it
do
maybe involve dancing?
maybe.
Who knows?
No, that's been cut. Sorry.
Wait, sorry. Sorry, you think they're not going to guess it from the dancing one, but then you
No, so
Wait, so you were booked on that
I was
one?
booked for another show, and then I just got really bad anxiety, and I was like, I can't do this. So I pulled out. And then Mickey from ITV is like, give me a call. So I'm like, what could this be? She sells it to me so well. She's like, listen, this is the nicest cast we've ever had. She basically told me all the bad things and all the good things. She was really open with it. But she said, this is going to do amazing things for your career. I heard career and thought, cool, I'm in.
You heard good in career.
I thought, fine, I can let this. And then also, one thing about me is I'm always in denial before something. So I said yes to it and then was like, I probably won't do it. In my head, I was like, it's not going to happen. Then it got to the week before, and I was having actual mental breakdowns. I was like having horrible dreams. I couldn't sleep. I was Googling worst Bush Tucker trials to make myself feel worse. And then I was on the plane and I thought, I can't even say no because my manager's booked our flight out here. So, yeah, that was awful. And when I was in holding, my God, I was like a mess.
Wait, what's the holding?
You're in holding. I sound like jail. You're like, you've got a chaperone who you drink wine with all the time. For like a week, you've got no phone. You're in a hotel room out in Australia before you get put in.
Is that to like make you kind of like climatize to the situation?
No, it's so you don't see any of the other contestants. I read the leak. See any of the other contestants, and you just sort of, I don't know, you're just out from anything else, and then you get put in. But that was really fun. Like, I actually didn't mind that, but I was struggling with not having my phone and like, what are people saying about me. But inside tea, I said to my chaperone, listen, I need a blow dry. The humidity is no joke. So he was like, cool. Took me to a hairdresser's and he left me for 1 minute to take a phone call. I said to the woman, I said, give me your phone. I'm going on I'm a Celebrity and I need to look at my socials to make myself feel better about myself.
No, you
I
didn't.
took that bitch's phone.
No, you didn't. You're lying.
I was looking at GK Barry. I was like, cool. The announcement post, awful. Who's this? Who's this? I just turned the phone off, took it back. I said,
and the anxiety went.
And I went, this is why we aren't allowed our phones. Now I get it. I learnt from my mistake. I fucked it. And that was all I had to know about the outside before I went in. That I was probably going to be first out. That's all I had in my head.
It's so nerve-wracking, man, because like you realize it's such a big show.
Yeah.
It's crazy big, and you know, in the world of what you'd been living in, you can edit and change and do different things. You have complete control over it, and then you're going into a space where the gods, the people who control it, have complete control over you.
Yeah, and I coming out seeing the clips, I thought, I don't even remember having that convo. And like the scissoring thing that I was talking with Rev about, me and Rev were like, it's funny because they'll never put this in. Like, it's ITV, they'll never put scissoring in. I came out and everyone was going, scissor? And I was like, they put it in.
Can you explain the story and who the Reverend was as well?
Yeah, so Reverend Rich, he was in the communards and he's also a man of God now. He came in, became best friends with him, and we taught each other everything. He was teaching me about Victorian children and his love for pots. I was talking to him about scissoring and vajazzles. So that was how our relationship worked. And he, honestly, is the best man I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah, I love him. He's an icon.
What were you most terrified about in the jungle?
Well, it's weird. I was more scared when I thought I'd be more scared about sleeping outside and having no control over anything. I hope huntsman spiders and snakes become extinct. That's controversial, but when you've been around
I'm with
them,
you.
I think they are the devil. I didn't realise the level of fear I had for insects and animals. I just thought I'll be all right on the day. No, I absolutely have an insane fear of anything that crawls or has multiple legs. That was what I was most scared of.
The Hannah, your manager, who has been with you from day dot.
Absolutely.
It's basically you're like sisters, right?
Mm.
You said that if you were going to be the first voted out,
Yeah.
you can't be because you get to the end of the bridge and your manager would be there.
She would march me back to the camp. She'd be like, "You have not wasted our time like this." So that was in the back of my head. And when I started going forth, I thought she'll be all right with 6th. She'll be all right with 7th. And she would have been, to be fair, but I just thought, I need to do this for Hannah.
It's so good.
And my career.
Why do you think you've done the crossover? Like being serious, like because you do Loose Women, you've done this. You're the kind of first person really in the UK to kind of jump that platform.
I think, firstly, it's because I moved to different platforms like my podcast. I think I know people in telly don't want a lot to do with TikTokers and just TikTokers.
Mm.
So when I started getting offered like little TV stuff, it was always podcast host. So I was like, right, that's how I'm known. And then I think maybe it's just contacts in the industry. I think my manager's got some amazing contacts, but also from my pod, I was making friends with people in different areas and they were talking to people. But I don't know how I made it onto telly because I am very crude. I have an awful mouth and my humour is horrific. So I think, I don't know.
Yeah, but mate, that's the beauty of it. I swear to God, you're like me. You like living in that dangerous area where we don't quite know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
which is like that is like the best thing because you don't quite know what's going to happen.
Everyone's holding their breath when I'm on Loose Women.
Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. It's so
but
good.
I'm also quite shy. I think it'll be different now. I know Jane, but I'm always so conscious of how I am on telly. So that maybe has helped because they're like, okay, she won't actually be that troublesome. Maybe now, but
you're the youngest person on Loose Women too.
I am.
It's amazing.
Thank God for that.
You're in a relationship now.
Yeah. If she breaks up with me, I will physically die. But
are you in love?
Yeah, that is my wife. I would say 100%. This is gonna be awkward. Imagine she breaks up with me like tomorrow and you release this. I'll be like, well. But no,
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
First time you felt like this?
100%. I feel like before I was like, oh, maybe I'm in love. And then I'd break up with them and be like, I don't really care about them anymore. But that was
Why does this feel different? Tell me.
I just feel like I am like a leech. We are both leeches. We can never be away from each other. And I feel like, I don't know, I just love her so much. And sometimes I imagine her dying to then be like, how would I react? And I'm really upset when I imagine her dying, and that's how I know.
I swear to you, Grace, when I realised I love Sophie, my wife, we were on holiday and she went off swimming and and I suddenly thought, when I said she was eaten by a shark.
Yeah, and you get upset.
And like suddenly getting really upset. I went, well, if she died, that'd be awful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know what I would
So glad you do
do.
that too.
And then after that, I said I'm going to marry her. And then I asked her to marry me. Not that day.
Well, I was going to say.
I waited a little bit. But that because of that moment.
Yeah, I feel like you know. And I've never really wanted to get married or like to have like kids because I do find them a little bit annoying. But I would with her. She would have to be the stay-at-home mum and I would have to escape to my job a little bit. But I would do that with her. And that's how I know.
What does being in love feel like to you?
Feel like, I don't know. I think it's just feeling really at home with someone. You know, even if you're away.
This is so nice.
Yeah, it just feels like home. It's really nice. It's really cute. And I feel like when she is in pain, I feel like I'm in pain.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
What is the difference between dating a guy and then dating a girl?
It's a complete difference.
Really emotionally?
They're so emotional, like women, but in a good way. Like I think they're just a lot more thoughtful and you are on the same wavelength at all times. And you know, sometimes when I was dating men, I'd say, this has really pissed me off. Like, and they'd be like, I don't understand why that's pissed you off, blah, blah, because you're on such different levels. Whereas with Ella, I'm like, this has pissed me off. And she's like, okay, I can see how that pissed you off. And you talk through it. And also they do know the way around the vagina, which is something that's very different for me.
Sophie just told me that I don't know where
Still?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you YouTube tutorialed that?
I found this guy on TikTok who talks about it.
Before I met Ella, I had to YouTube tutorial how to finger. Like 5 minutes before she came to my house.
This is no word of a lie. When Sophie and I were first dating, I found this guy on TikTok who tells you different things. And he said to me, what you should do He said, you should, when they're sitting watching TV,
Okay.
you should climb behind them
Sorry.
like this and put your arm over them like a seatbelt. and that's a really good way of doing it. I did that to Sophie, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like,
Well, you were trying like assault. Yeah.
and my breath was in her ear.
Oh
and
my
the
God.
whole thing was.
I'm
just,
imagining it. Yeah. That is tragic.
Yeah.
And you still got married.
And I still got married.
She's a real one.
When was the moment when you realised you wanted to date women?
It's funny because I'd slept with women, but I was like, I don't know if I would date one because I've never done that before. And I wouldn't really know what to do. And then when I met her, like I was speaking to her for a bit and I was like, oh, like we get on kind of well. So I was really scared to meet her because I'd never met a girl sober, ever.
Wow.
Yeah, ever. So I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I really like her. I think she's really fit and she's really funny. So I'm just gonna fucking do it. You only live once. She came round and I was like, oh no, we're gonna have to get married. Like straight away we got on so well.
It was like that.
Like that, 100%. I remember I had my Pretty Little Thing shoot the next day and I skipped into that shoot and I went, I'm in love with a girl. And it's all I talk about. And everyone was like, okay, well, this is, are you, because you've just met her? And I was like, no, you don't understand. I love her. After a day, I love her. And they were like, okay. And she was doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing, which was great.
Do you know, the amazing thing, Grace, is that so many of your followers are younger, right? And like so many people are like questioning maybe their sexuality or questioning their life or like, and you're just such a role model for those people. Truly are, just to be like, you are authentically yourself. That is so great. It's so amazing, especially someone who is on the internet to be so authentically themselves. It's so important on such a fake place. That is amazing.
And I think it's so difficult when people put everyone in like boxes of like, you should, okay, if you fancy a girl, you should be a lesbian or you're definitely lesbian. I think like considering to a lot of people, I feel like I had this awakening quite late. So I just think, well, however you feel, go with it. And if you just want to experiment, you can experiment. It doesn't mean you're anything. You just do whatever you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anyone.
Do you think it's helped to find a boundary between Grace and GK Barry?
Yeah, I think I speak so much more openly as GK Barry because I just think, oh, they'll associate it with that, not me, even though that is me. But it's like at home, I'd never swear in front of my parents. I'd never talk about sex with my parents. Yeah. But since becoming this person, I'm at home talking about the craziest shit, saying the word shit in front of my parents. Like, yeah, it's weird.
I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you.
I really am. Because you have your huge show tomorrow.
Yeah, so do you.
At you, I can't wait. I can't wait. I spent so long, you're doing it in Wembley.
Yeah.
Man, it's just insane. Like, are you nervous for it?
I'm a bit nervous about what I'll be like with the crowd, but on my rider there is 8 bottles of Prosecco. So I reckon if I work my way through half, I'll be fine when I get on there.
You're amazing. How do you find live?
I prefer it.
Why?
When I do my tours, I absolutely love it and I feel like I'm funnier on stage. I don't know why. But I just think it's so fun. It's seeing everyone's reactions.
Because you riff to them.
Yeah, exactly. And I always pick on people in the crowd. I love it. Like, I think it's really funny. And it's nice putting a face to a number. You know, when it's like, oh, you've got a couple million like followers. When you actually see them, it's so good. And hearing their stories. So many people have crashed their cars listening to my podcast as well.
Because they've been laughing so much.
It's a flex.
That is a flex. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah. I think I've got imposter syndrome, but I am. I think it is mental.
But is the imposter syndrome quietening a little bit?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to get a therapist at some point.
If you could have one thing now, you say, okay, right, here we go, 5 years' time, this is what I want to be achieving. What is it?
I want to be doing documentaries on the telly, still popping off on social media. Maybe a Pomeranian that I can carry around in my bag, still with my girlfriend. And, I'd just love to have just loads of money as well. That would be nice.
And married?
Yeah, too right. I'm not proposing though. So she better just get on that.
Grace, you're the best.
Thank you.
Honestly, that was truly amazing. Thank you for coming on Great Company. Before we finish, even though we've done questions, we like to finish the show with 8 questions. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
What's a saying or phrase that makes you smile or cheers you up?
Up the bum, no, I'm done.
Best compliment you ever received?
That I'm the funniest person they've met, which is true.
What scares you most about yourself?
What I'm like after a rosé wine. It's awful.
When was the last time you cried and why?
After I got pie and mash because I felt overwhelmed.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I swear to God, I landed, got pie and mash, and I felt really overwhelmed.
And you cried into it?
I cried in the car afterwards when I got back. I was like, it's just a lot.
Are you a big crier?
All the time.
All the time?
All day long. Yeah, I cry
anything?
all the time. I don't cry happy tears. I just cry sad tears. And
It's
then I'm
always sad.
over it in like 5 seconds, but I'm just really emotional. I hate it.
What's something you can't let go of?
My girlfriend's ass. No, I'd say when people are mean to me, I will be stubborn with that. Yeah, 100%.
What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is doing fuck all watching Real Housewives with a snurse in my mouth.
What turns you off?
Oh, bad manners.
What turns you on?
Oh, just big minge energy. Big fucking pussy energy. Love it.
What do you like most about yourself?
I like my sense of humour.
Last one, favourite swear word?
Oh, I love a fuck at the minute.
That's good, right? Grace, thank you so much for coming. You are honestly the best. I adore you to bits, and so does everyone else. Thank you so much for coming. Great company. You're amazing.
Thank you.